This is CBC Winnipeg News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. A Manitoba mom wants others to know how serious RSV can be for young babies. RSV and influenza are two of the respiratory viruses circulating in Manitoba right now. That is leading to a surge in patients at the Children's Emergency Department. CBC's Alana Cole reports.
You gonna show off?
This is Walker. His mom says he's happy and healthy now, but last May he got sick with RSV. She says he was admitted to hospital for 3 days and needed oxygen and a feeding tube.
It was such a terrible time and a terrifying time. The hospital staff is amazing and they tell you, okay, day 5 and 6 are the worst. You can do this, you can get through it. And you just wait for the worst to end and hope on day 7 you're one of the lucky families that sees that spontaneous recovery and gets to go home.
Walker was only 6 weeks old at the time. His brother was nearly 2 and also got really sick, but recovered at home. McLennan wants to raise awareness so people understand what can seem like just a cold for some can be serious for newborn babies. Respiratory viruses, including RSV and influenza, have led to a recent spike in the number of sick kids at Winnipeg's Children's Hospital Emergency Department. Pediatric infectious disease specialist Dr. Jared Bullard expects it to stay busy over the next several months. He says measures to reduce the spread of COVID-19 also meant a lot of kids weren't getting viruses that normally circulate.
When you have your primary infection or the first time you get it, you're going to be sicker, and we know that. And so as a result, we have a whole cohort of children, more than we typically would, that haven't been exposed to these viruses.
McLennan says her boys now need inhalers when they get a cold. She decided to share her family's story to get the word out.
Yeah.
Alana Cole, CBC News, Winnipeg.
The HSE Children's Emergency Department was once again overwhelmed with sick kids this weekend. Shared Health says 177 patients came through the emergency department on Sunday, with 14 of those kids admitted to the hospital. The bulk of the patients were suffering primarily with viral and respiratory illnesses. The daily average of children's patient visits in October was just over 145 patients. At midnight, there were 8 patients in the pediatric ICU. The pre-pandemic baseline capacity is 9 staffed beds. The NICU was caring for 46 newborns. Its normal baseline capacity is 50. The NDP says new information is coming out about Kevin Klein's relationship with Peter Nygard. Klein is running for the Tories in Kirkfield Park. That by-election, of course, happening in December. He says he worked briefly for Nygard in 2012 and 2014. New Democrat MLA Nahani Fontaine brought court records to the legislature today. She says they tell a different story.
Voters deserve to have all of the information in respect of their candidate, in respect of the person who wants to represent them in this legislature. And so Kevin Klein has put other facts on the official record and has seemingly omitted other facts here. And so Manitobans need to know what the full extent of his relationship with Peter Nygard is.
Now, the Tories say Klein was helping another organization with stem cell work in St. Kitts and that Nygard Biotech was not involved. Small retail businesses in Winnipeg say they need support now more than ever. Some shop owners say they're stretching every dollar to stay afloat as profits shrink due to inflation and rising costs. CBC's Emily Brass has more.
It's been a North End staple for more than 100 years, but Pollock's Hardware Co-op is struggling to make ends meet.
We monitor the money flow daily. Like it is, we check the bank, we make sure we figure out who we can pay, who we have to put off. We have to make those decisions every day.
Goods, transportation, wages, everything has gone up, forcing tough decisions on what to keep in stock. The store expects to just barely end the year in the black.
Our margins are shrinking, and so that makes us have less buying power overall. And so it's just a vicious circle. And then people don't see enough stuff in the store, they don't come in.
Just up the street, Modern Coffee is facing similar struggles.
it's month by month now. And it's hard. I've had to make cuts that I've never wanted to make.
The business was just taking off when the pandemic hit. Owner Allison Slesser had to lay off staff, running the cafe nearly single-handedly. Rising food costs and soaring interest rates have slowed cash flow to a trickle.
Making it through the pandemic, it wasn't a miracle. It was me putting myself on the line. It was me working all the time. Me taking out loans that I know I'm going to be stuck with in one way or another, paying for.
Both businesses took advantage of pandemic subsidies until those supports dried up. The province says it is helping by cutting payroll taxes and pouring millions into programs to help train employees and pay wages. But advocates say small businesses need more help now.
For many small businesses, yes, it absolutely is an emergency. They're not sure if they're going to make it through the next 6 weeks. They don't know if they can make payroll.
The Canadian Federation of Independent Business is urging Ottawa to extend its deadline on federal loans and asking provinces to lower the tax burden. There's also a request for customers.
Shop local, think local. Your dollars stay here. Like, they literally stay here in your community.
Emily Brass, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Well, Premier Heather Stefanson is making good on a Grey Cup bet she had with Ontario Premier Doug Ford.
I said I'd be wearing this jersey. I am today. Congratulations to the Argonauts. And Premier Ford, we look forward to taking that cup back from you next year, my friend.
On Twitter, a disappointed Stefanson showed off her temporary duds in a video from the Manitoba-Saskatchewan border. Stefanson says she's still proud of the blue and gold in their stellar season and, of course, the third consecutive trip to the Grey Cup. All right, let's have a look at downtown Winnipeg this evening. We are seeing some snow already in southern Manitoba tonight. Not here in the city of Winnipeg yet, though. I'll have your full forecast coming up after the break.
This weather update is brought to you by Capital Ford Lincoln. 22 model clear out is on now.
Welcome back. Well, John is taking some time off, so I'm covering your weather tonight. As you can see, we have some snow moving through southern Manitoba. This should give us about 2 or 3 centimeters as we get into the overnight tonight. You can see this area of instability does push out. We start the day on Tuesday with a mainly cloudy sky. We stay mainly cloudy through the day tomorrow, but we do see some sunny breaks later afternoon west to east, so we'll see the sunshine for a little bit tomorrow afternoon. By the time we get into Wednesday, though, we do see another cloudy day, some snow along the Hudson Bay coast down towards Swan River, so it'll be another sort of messy day on Tuesday and Wednesday as we head into Thursday, expecting perhaps some more flurries or even some showers. Okay, so our temperatures tonight look like this. Into the overnight, we'll be at around 4 below, up around Winnipeg and Gimli, 7 below in the Brandon region. So a lot warmer than we should be for this time of the year. In the afternoon tomorrow, -2 in Winnipeg and Portage La Prairie, up around the freezing mark even through the western side of the province. Looking at your extended forecast, -1 tomorrow under that sun-cloud mix. That's really what we see over the next couple of days. Warming up above freezing for Friday with a high of 2 degrees, 0 for Saturday, and more normal toward the start of next week. And that is your late news for this Monday. Thanks so much for being with us tonight. We'll see you tomorrow at 6 and 11. Have a great evening.